Hi, okay, so let's get started. In section 1.3, we're going to talk about complex numbers. Not sure if you've seen them before. Think you have, but not 100% sure. So we'll just have a quick review. This will be a relatively short lecture. Okay, so complex numbers come from the square root of a negative number. Complex numbers have to be written in something called a plus bi form, and you treat the a, what we call the real part, and the B, the imaginary part, kind of like terms, like we would collect the A with the A and the B with the B here. And notice that both of these guys are in A plus BI form. And we're going to kind of treat the I like the variable and the A like the constant and put the variables and stuff together. So we get to kind of like use the same rules with adding and subtracting. So 7 plus 9 is 16. 3i minus 7i is minus 4i, and it needs to be in that a plus bi form. Here, be very careful and distribute your negative sign there. So we have negative 2 plus 10i. Okay, easy peasy. Now, the strength of complex numbers comes into the fact that the square root of -1 is equal to I, but I squared is equal to -1. I mean, that makes sense, right? If the square root of 1 is equal to I and we square both sides, right, then -1 is equal to I squared. Cool, straight. So that's going to come into account when we multiply, right? So we're going to just FOIL these guys as you have any other binomial. So 3 times 1 is 3, plus 3 times 4i is 12i. 2i times 1 is positive 2i, and I'm a stacker. I like to stack things instead of spreading them across. So just know that about me. And then here we have 2i plus 4i. That's positive 8i squared. But I squared is equal to -1, right? I squared equals -1. And so we can get rid of that I squared by replacing it with the -1. Now we could take that 8i squared and rewrite it as 8 times -1 equals -8. But I see a lot of students making mistakes when they do it like that. I'm not really sure why. But that's an extremely common mistake I see. So what I try to tell students to do is to, anytime they see an I square, they strike it off and change the sign of the number that it's attached to. Now, I always circle things that I change. Like if I apply some kind of shortcut or anything like that, if I change a sign, I'm going to circle it. That way I know I changed it and it's not just a spare mark or anything like that. And then I can put these guys together, right? So 3 minus 8 is -5 plus 14i. Now notice we didn't get anything like a trinomial, like if we were multiplying two binomials, x plus 2 and x minus 5, if we multiplied those two together, we would turn out to have a trinomial. But when you multiply complex numbers together, because of this I squared equals -1 thing, you continue to have a binomial number. Okay, let's take a look at this next guy. I wanted to throw this on here to remind you that 5 minus I squared is not 25 plus 1. That is 5 minus I times 5 minus I. Okay, so let's multiply that together here. We have 25 minus 5i minus another 5i plus 1i squared. Now, I wrote that 1 there on purpose, not because I don't know that I squared there has an implied 1 in front of it, but because when I do my little trick and I cross this off and I change my sign, I don't lose that minus 1. That happens a whole lot. So I wanted to point that out here. So then we would have 24 minus 10i. Okay, again, nothing but a little bit of practice and you will pick this up very quickly. You know how to FOIL. So thing to remember is the I squares are going to turn whatever that number is negative. All right, now division on the other hand is counterintuitive. It's not like you would think. When you do division, you are actually going to rationalize the denominator, similar to what you would do with radical expressions. Like when you had a radical in a denominator, you can't leave it like that. You'd have to put it in the top by rationalizing it. So what we do with complex numbers is we rationalize them by multiplying top and bottom by the denominator's conjugate. Now, first, what's a conjugate? Well, a conjugate happens when you just change the symbol in front of, changing the sign of the imaginary part. Not both signs, just the sign of the imaginary part, that B part, that I part, that second piece in general. Okay, and so I wrote up a couple of examples here. So say we were given 2 minus 3i, the conjugate of that would be 2 plus 3i. Again, notice that that A part does not change sign. Given negative 11 plus 2i, the conjugate is negative 11 minus 2i. Negative 1 minus I is negative 1 plus I. And then if you don't have a real part to get the conjugate, you just change the sign on that imaginary part. Okay, pretty straightforward. Okay, so let's simplify a couple of these rational complex expressions. The first one is 1 over 3 plus 4i. And so the trick is to multiply. So we're going to multiply by a fancy one, right? Made of the conjugate over the conjugate. All right, and so here the conjugate is going to be 3 minus 4i, and what we do to the bottom, we do to the top. Okay, and now let's just multiply through here. 1 times that crap is just equal to 3 minus 4i on top over, and now be very careful. Remember, this is a foiling situation. A lot of students just distribute that 4i in there without putting parentheses around the two, but remember, we're multiplying those together, okay? So 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times negative 4i is negative 12i. I guess this is where I do kind of do it in a line. 4i times 3 is positive 12i, and negative 4i times 4i is negative 16i squared. Now, before I do anything, I handle that I squared situation and show that as a plus. Okay, now my top is still going to be 3 minus 4i, but the bottom now is going to be 9 plus 16 is 25, and negative 12i, positive 12i, the i's go away. In fact, if all your i's do not go away, you messed up on your conjugate. Okay, so be really careful. Now, we still have one more step, and the last step is to put it in A plus BI form. You might think this is A plus BI form, but it is not. So to put it in A plus BI form, we have to separate that 25. That 25 belongs to both pieces here, so it would be 3 over 25 minus 4i over 25, or you could also write it 3 over 25 minus 4 over 25i. Those are completely equivalent. I'm not sure what your homework is going to require of you. think the second one. Okay, but it might accept the first one. Okay, so let's do this other one. Now this one's going to require a little bit more work. Okay, so let's get going here. We need to multiply the top and bottom by the denominator's conjugate. It is the denominators. If we do it by the numerators conjugate, then we get rid of all the imaginary numbers on top and leave them all on the bottom, and we just can't have those imaginary numbers in the bottom. Okay, so the conjugate here is going to be 4 plus 3i. And don't forget that this is how that's going, right? Okay, so let's do the numerator. 2i, or 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 3i is plus 6i. 3i times 4 is negative 12i. Negative 3i times positive 3i is negative 9i squared. And then I'm going to jump on the bottom. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 3i is 12i. Negative 3i times 4, negative 12i, and negative 3i times positive 3i is negative 9i squared. Now, excuse me, I'm going to pause here for just 1 second. I want to make sure that you guys do not fall into the trap of canceling anything at all out, ever, until you collect up all your terms and clean everything up, okay? Not to mention we can't do any canceling here over the division bar because there's all these pluses and minuses in between. All right, so just wanted to stop for a moment. Now, this is going to go. This is going to go, right? And these guys are actually going to go because they are opposite sides. So our numerator looks like 8 plus 9 is equal to 17. 6 minus 12 is minus 6i over 16 plus 9, 25 again. Clearly, when I made up my examples, that was where I was at. And there we go. Okay, so why do we even care about imaginary numbers? Well, previously, there were no solution equations. The previous no solution equations actually have solutions, right? So now we got to be mindful to the difference between no solutions and no real solutions. So basically all problems have solutions. They're just not necessarily real solutions. And let's just look right here. We're going to end it up. So traditionally, x squared plus 25 has been no solution, right? Told you all the way around. You cannot do the sum of squares, right? The sum of squares is no solution, but that's not true. There's actually solutions. They're just complex solutions. And so anytime you see what you would think about like a difference of squares, like x squared minus 25, right? Because if I had x squared minus 25, you could easily tell me that's x minus 5, x plus 5. Real easily. Now, when it says plus here, you can still do the same thing you do here, but you got to drop on that I. So this is x plus 5i, x minus 5i equals 0. And since it's set equal to 0, we'll find the solution. So x is equal to negative 5i, and x is equal to 5i. Okay. Now, it's cool to note when you're dealing with differences of squares, and I hadn't brought this up, but it is cool to note that you can use the difference of squares in all sorts of situations. Like what if I had x squared minus 10? and I wanted to factor that. That is x minus the square root of 10, x plus the square root of 10. And with that, just moving even forward, if we said we had x squared plus, let's see, 24, okay? That's going to be x plus the square root of 24i and x minus the square root of 24i. Now, I want to tell you that we usually write things like i's and variables and stuff like that in front. So we would really write this as x plus I square roots of 24 times x minus I square roots of 24. We write it in front. That way there's no question whether it is under the radicand or not. And just because I made this one up, I need to completely finish it. I couldn't let you leave it like this because it's not in the most simplified form. So I would need you to break down that square root of 24, right? And let's look up here just real quickly. 24 is 4 times 6. 4 is 2 times 2. 6 is 2 times 3. It's a square root. We need pairs. So the square root of 24 is 2 square roots of 6. And I would expect that you would take it all the way there. And I know that your homework program expects it too. So this is actually going to be x plus 2i square root of 6 times x minus 2i square root of 6. And this would be that awesome final situation right there. Okay? Okay, let's look at this next one and the last one, in fact. And this last one here looks like you would have to use the quadratic formula. So A is equal to 1, B is equal to 1, and C is equal to 1. So we'll say X is equal to negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4 times A times C and all that crap over 2 times A. So we have negative 1 plus or minus the square root of negative 3 over 2. That's going to be negative 1 plus or minus I square roots of 3, each piece over 2, to put it in the A plus BI form. All right, we did it. Yay! My phone didn't ring. I was not interrupted, and it was a nice short class. Don't expect all these classes to be nice and short. In fact, I got so involved I forgot to give you your attendance quiz phrase. So today's attendance quiz phrase is the fridge sighed heavily. Y'all have a good day.